Good morning, Ire! Okay, I'm no Protoss Robin Williams, but we are going to have a fantastic game today because we have the acronym of the maximum, TLO! But wait, there's more, and not just a set of free steak knives. For the Terran, we have Future! Not gonna lie, I'm a total fanboy for Team Liquid's TLO, the little one, pro gamer from Germany. He's been a fan favorite ever since the beta because he's constantly been pushing the envelope with innovative strategies. He's currently ranked 24th in the world. I had no idea it was so hot right now. Future, the American player from Infinity Gaming, is currently ranked 38th. Sounds like we're going to get a pretty high-level match for today's meta. Now, for all the talk about TLO's creativity, he's totally capable of playing a straight-up macro game, and that kind of looks like what he's opening with so far. Which means we'll be seeing the ubiquitous gas followed by pool, and we'll need to wait a little bit later before we see any meaningful tech choices. Terran is queuing up minerals himself, which means we're probably looking at a Reaper expand. I know I sound slightly disappointed, but don't worry. This game's just getting started. Now, I haven't watched nearly as many games with Future, but I'll tell you from what I have seen, Future's opening style is almost the opposite of Special, if you've seen the game I recently casted of him. Rather than using Hellions for the drone barbecue, he focuses on containment, sort of probing around the outside, cutting down on tumors. He sets himself up for a mid-game timing attack. I love how Future's SCV takes the time to grab a set of minerals before he works on that command center. It's just those little things that totally make me geek out. I swear, the smaller and less significant an edge in Starcraft is, the more I love it. Okay, so the initial Reaper is off now, headed for that scout, and he's immediately building a Marine behind it. TLO is still on Lings and Queens. He should have no ability to really slay a Reaper, but maybe he can zone it out. Our map today is Acropolis, and it's big enough that it takes the Reaper a good while to get over there, which gives Zerg a little bit of extra time. Oh, Future gets right up the wide ramp to the natural. There's a pair of Lings there. They're going to get a piece of that Reaper. Future's going to kite his way out, and he's going to get a kill. It's our first blood! 2 Freshlings are going to trade in to try to stop that Reaper. Future's just going to pull out and take a second to enjoy that phenomenal healing ability of his. I know you've heard it 1,000 times before, but why can't they give that healing suit to the regular Marines? The Terrans really need to hire me to consult for their military. I'd be full of crazy ideas for them, like, hey, maybe put a gun on that medevac. Anyways, while TLO is dealing with that pest, he does manage to get his 3rd down. There's our infamous reactor switch. I love how the buildings defy the laws of physics as they phase in between each other. Anyone who thinks 2 solid objects can't occupy the same point in time obviously hasn't played Starcraft. Oh, that Reaper's getting into trouble! His escape routes are getting cut off! Actually, his head's getting cut off! I guess Future's ready to segue into the Hellion component of his harass. He's got 2 on the way, and his starport is finishing up. TLO's Overlord does not see the starport, but he does see the 2 Hellions depart. And he should know there's 2 more on the way. Future's gonna invest in a Liberator behind this. And he's starting Stim. He's showing mech, but he's definitely gonna be investing in bio. Oh, the Hellions are gonna spot an immature creep tumor, and they are gonna take it down. Future takes the snipe and he pulls back. It's early days, but so far he doesn't look like he's going to be too aggressive about trying to push up that ramp. Ling speed is almost finishing up for TLO, but there's no indication so far that he knows about the Liberator in production. If Future can keep the little one worried about his Hellions, he might be able to do some damage. And just as I say that, TLO sends in his Overlord to get the scout. Forget spotting the production, he's going to get a live demo. But once the Marines are on the Overlord, the Liberator heads out. He knows he's got a limited window to do damage, and he doesn't want to waste it. Speaking of wasted, that is the fate of the Overlord. Well, actually, is he really wasted if he got that important scouting info? His body was wasted, but his mineral cost was not. Meanwhile, that Hellion counts up to 6 now, and Zerg has to take it pretty serious. TLO is dropping those backdoor spores. Instead of tightly guarding the mineral line, he's set them back to deal with those Liberator hiding spots. Those Hellions do seem to be preoccupied with creep contain, but not so much that he's investing scans into it. Here we go, Liberator in fighter mode, swinging around the north side. Oh, that Spore is going to take pot shots at him the whole way. The Queen is going to get in on the action. Future sets a liberation zone, choking off some of those mineral patches. The Queen dies, immolated in fire, but so does the Liberator. The Spore takes it down. I don't know if that was a great trade. Terran swings his Hellions up the ramp, but the Lings are there to greet him. He pulls back, satisfied with the volley he got on those Lings. A couple of those Hellions are deep in the red. Future looks to see if there's any easy opportunities at the third, but he doesn't find any. Unless he's going to invest in some scans, he's not likely to get any creep tumors. I think he wants to save his energy for his mules. Oh, TLO snuck out and planted a fourth. And I love that. The Overlord's pooping creep so those Queens can get out there and move around. He knows the longer he can stretch those Queens as his primary combat unit, the further he can put off having to invest in other attackers. Oh, Future's going to prove me wrong. He's going to drop a scan and kill some tumors. Actually, he missed that guy. Well, he goes back and finishes it off. See what I mean, though, about different Terran styles? Future still hasn't lost a single Hellion, but he also hasn't killed a single drone. Special would have lost 10 Hellions and killed 10 drones. Oh, TLO has snuck out a squad of Lings to the south. Right as Terran's looking to get his third to drop. Talk about knowing your 6.5-minute timings. Future's on it. He's pulled back his Hellions. It's Fire and Fang! Marines and tanks come to reinforce. The Lings pull back. Unbelievable. I don't think they got a single SCV. No, they didn't. They were right in the mineral line. Those Lings are all going to be sent to the doghouse. Future's going to wall off and make the next attempt that much harder. Oh, he's also moved across the map with his tanks and Marines. He's setting up a position. He stims in and goes for that fourth. It's open and vulnerable. Where's the cavalry? The tanks are hitting it. Here come the Lings. And here come the Banes. Future's pulling back. A second squad of Lings slips in behind and they rip the tanks to shreds. And now the Hydras have shown up to reinforce. Mid-level tech is here, and the medevacs rescue the rest of the Marines. Lings looking to get a surround on the reinforcing Hellions, and those long-lasting Hellions finally start to go down. Until they're rescued by the next squad of Marines, which forces Zerg back. This is turning into a real ping-pong battle. TLO retreats to his creep and tries to set up a concave, and then he flies back in. Future's Marine Ball kiting for his life. Baneling speed coming online. How do those Marines hold that off? With Stim, that's how. They're even going to force back those Hydras, which means Future's going to be able to get another position with his tank. TLO's going to try to expand his creep mid-battle, but I don't think Future's going to let him. The Marines swing to the south to kill another tumor, which means there's a chance for Zerg to reclaim the high ground. He's going to go for it until the tank forces him back. Starting to look like Future is going to establish a contain. They are almost dead even on army supply. What a game this is starting to shape up to be. Future can't get on the creep. TLO can't get off of it. Future scans and kills another creep tumor. The Hydras move in. Zerg has set the flank coming from both sides. Terran has got to retreat from those spines. Can his rally tank save those Marines? No, but the medevac can get them out of there. And just like that, Zerg has forced the Terran back, and now he has the high ground over Terran's base. The difference is, though, Terran has tanks sieged up. Zerg's going to have to think twice about going down that ramp unless they want to get splattered. Bang, bang, go the siege tanks. And the Hydras do have that second sobered thought. They're going to start retreating back to the Zerg base, harassed by Marines the whole way. They're going to have to be rescued by the Queens. The Marines focus down a Queen. Retreat, come back and find out that Zerg is retreated. Neither player feels secure at this point. They're almost equal on army size. TLO is going to see if he can avoid the Plains of Death by swinging some Zerglings around to the north. Can he slip in and do some damage? The Terran medevacs are bone dry. Oh, the Ling raid force has intercepted the Terran Marines who were set to rally. And then they'll slip into the mineral line on the third, only this time they will get some kills. TLO's going to try to use the opportunity to break the contain. He's coming up the ramp. There's no rescue for the mineral line. 12 SCVs are down. Finally, a Marine force arrives for the cleanup. Meanwhile, the battle on the Plains of Death continues. There must be so many bullet casings all over this desert. Future looking to creep forward with his tanks. He will not let those Queens plant tumors. But the Zerg has a lot of Hydras. He's rolling in. TLO decides he wants to trade. He takes the tank hits and forces his way up. He's probably thinking, I know I got more workers than you. I can recover faster. And I know that because I just assassinated 14 of them. But nobody gets to be the victor in the middle of the map. Future counter-punches again. They're just going back and forth for control of like 3 inches of terrain here. It's been solid micro-combat since the 6-minute mark. They must be exhausted. I know I am, and I'm just watching the thing. Future is just doing a fantastic job of abusing that high terrain. He's making it so expensive for Zerg to get up there. It's those incredible transfusing queens that deserve such... Oh, as soon as I say that, the queens get obliterated by the tank. Future just keeps rallying to that high ground. Hello! TLO is getting an Ultralisk Cavern. I was wondering when he was going to tech up. He has been kind of busy with this life and death battle. But if each of these players can manage to keep themselves alive, we just might get to see Ultras here. With Broodlords as awesome as they are these days, you don't get to see Ultras as much as you'd like. And Vipers! TLO has brought Vipers! Blinding clouds cover the ramp and the Zerg moves in! Oh, this is like late game Brood War. Awesome! See, this is why people love TLO, because he does stuff like that. Terran is forced to fall back even though he's got the bigger army. And the queens are marching up the mountain. Unfortunately, the Vipers gave their lives in that attack, so we won't see any more blinding clouds for the moment. Terran reinforces, and the Zerg shows signs of pulling back. But will he give up the gains he's just achieved? I'm like a broken record, but this is so back and forth. They keep battling over the same 10 grains of sand. If Blizzard didn't conveniently make dead units dissolve, the bodies would be piled everywhere, such has been the carnage in this game. We're about to hit the 6-minute mark of solid death without a break. And as soon as I say that, it looks like for the first time we have a mutual pullback. Zerg has been so busy he can't get this base up and running. Finally has the spare second to get a drone transfer. Future's gonna use his first seconds of respite to get his 4th up and running. I take it back. He's relentless. He's going at the Zerg again, right up the middle. TLO's going to try to swing a small stream of Lings around to the north side. And look what the cat dragged in. There's Ultras waiting for that Terran force. Future wisely scanned it, and he's pulling back. Which might be a good thing, because he needs to focus on cleaning these Lings out of his 4th base. Talk about your overkill. Those Lings aren't going to last long. Ah, but they got 3 SCVs, and they may have forced a pullback. That's probably not a bad investment for just minerals at this phase of the game. Whew, the center's finally empty. Hello, there's a control group of Banes to the south waiting for their moment. And a new pair of Vipers are charging up with their consume ability. And it's the old 13-minute Spire. As I read Future's posture at this point, he's done attacking. He plans to defend the next wave. But he's still got a few poor units on their old rallies. Zerg's gonna chase them down. I didn't mean to attack the swarm all by myself. Oh, here comes a huge assault. The Ultras are leading the way. Hydras and Banes following behind. They're gonna meet that tank platoon. Not even upgraded Ultras can take that kind of DPS. Future's gonna leapfrog forward and take up positions on the low ground, while TLO pulls all the way back home. Terran's working on multi-pronged drops, but he's gonna get zoned out to the south. Terran knows he's behind on drones, army, and upgrades. Oh, but the snipe to the north gets the Evo chamber. He denies the level 3 attack upgrade. That's gonna help. TLO uses abduct to make sure Terran pays for it, though. That's gonna be a one-way trip. Okay, I got a really cool stat for you on this game. Currently, Terran has killed 374 Zerg units. Exactly 0 of which are drones. Oh, misrallied Solitary Queen is gonna die. At least she'll underscore the perils of attacking Terran's entrenched defense. Future is focused on countering those Ultras now. He's pumping out Ghosts for that steady targeting. He'll be able to test it out any moment because we've got Ultras sneaking around to the right here. Wait, can Ultras actually sneak? They gotta like shake the water glass like in Jurassic Park. It's a 2-pronged attack. There's a hit squad coming to the south at the same time. It takes 3 steady shots to annihilate an Ultralisk. And it looks like Future can count. All that micro makes his minerals balloon up, so he immediately drops command centers. Hit squad to the south is ripping its way in. They're pushed back, and there's a drop on the Terran's 5th. This game has just shifted from only fighting in that center of the map to everywhere but. Oh, Viper of Ducks, I've missed you so much. Future's starting to feel the pressure of mining out. He's going to try to expand again to the south. That's going to be a tough one to hold. He doesn't have the defense set there. TLL knows it. He'd love to get a fortress up there, but he's not going to have the time. But he does add liberation zones. Future drops a scan. He busts TLO trying to morph in banelings on the high ground. He's going to roll those back before they get prematurely detonated. That's always embarrassing. It looks like Future's going to get up that defensive infrastructure at his south base. TLO, however, appears to be swinging around to the north. Zerg's got the bigger army and the bigger bank. He just needs to find the right spot to use it. If he smashes his army on the Terran defense, Future will be right back in this. He's going to try for the north, but he's not committing his full army. Lings go in. He's going to reduce the tank count and get a handful of SCVs, but the Terran base is going to hold. Zerg remaxes instantly. Terran is scanning around trying to find where the next blow is going to come from, and it looks like it might be a doom drop. Nope, those are empty, but it does signal a major attack is coming. They'll be sacrificed to confuse or absorb damage. TLO's got control groups all along the border, ready to attack multiple sites at once. He's maxed, and his melee attack 3 is just completed. It's a huge assault. The Ultras are the vanguard with the Hydras making up the middle. The tanks are killing so much Zerg, but they just keep coming. The Zerg army is splatted in half. Could he actually hold this? The Vipers have put blinding clouds right into the Terran's heart. Terran's forced to lift off. The Zerg hatchery's going to overdrive. TLO orders a huge wave of Lings as follow-up. The Marines are forcing them back, but they are so deep in the red. Zerg has taken the third base. The Marines have retreated to the mineral lines while the Hydras form a firing squad, and it's GG! Future taps out. TLO is your winner. In an exhausting bloodbath, a true hard-earned victory. Wow, so this was a true bloodbath for the ages. Over 750 units lost their lives, notably exactly 0 of which were actually drones. And that's probably what went wrong for Future here on a huge list of things that he did right. You know how after a crime scene the forensics guys go in and they like count the bullet casings and stuff like that? I'm trying to imagine what that would look like for the poor guys who have to CSI the Acropolis map. Chief, if I could refer you to exhibit AAAAAAZ, you'll see there is a bullet casing which ricocheted off of 17 other bullet casings and then lodged in this guy's skull. Yeah, but do you think the weapon was fired with malicious intent? I'm gonna go with yes. So, what could Future have done differently? This will be egregious hindsight, but I think he might have made the wrong call around the 12-minute mark and cost himself the game. Right when both sides pulled back to regroup, Future was ready first. He had a Marine tank force backed by a huge cloud of medevacs pushing up the center. But he backed off when he saw the scans with the Ultras. Those Ultras did not have the armor or speed upgrades yet and were actually at their most vulnerable. That might have been the time to take them down and change the game. But having just lost 14 SCVs to a Ling run-by, Future opted to pull back and make sure it didn't happen again with the next one. The Ling force was actually quite small and could have been cleaned up with just the next round of production in his base. But how do you judge that? And what if you're wrong? So yeah, nobody's going to judge Future harshly on this one. Anyways, this was such a battle. I'm going to give these guys props for entertaining me. I hope you got as much out of it as I did. If you'd like to see more matches by these fine combatants, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Always happy to chat craft. So, from my base to yours, Zugzwang out. To continue your Starcraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Of course, you could always season upgrade and subscribe to Zugzang Starcraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.